A year felt enormous when you were 7. Summer alone could last a lifetime. Now you blink, and it's December again. Nothing about the clock has changed. The seconds are exactly the same length they have always been. So the speed of time isn't really speeding up, which means the change is happening somewhere else. It's happening inside you. So here's the question this whole video is built around. If a minute is always 60 seconds, why does a decade in your 40s feel shorter than a single summer in your childhood? By the end of this, you'll understand the real mechanism behind it. Not a vague feeling, an actual reason your brain treats time the way it does. And once you see it, you'll know exactly why your years feel like they're accelerating, and what quietly makes them slow back down. You've probably felt this yourself. You promised to do something this year. Then the year is just gone. You didn't waste it. You were busy the whole time, and yet looking back, it feels like it barely happened. That feeling isn't laziness, and it isn't your memory failing. It's a clue about how your brain builds time. Let's start simple. The oldest explanation is just math. When you're 1 year old, a single year is your entire life. It's everything. When you're 10, 1 year is a tenth of your existence. By 50, that same year is only 1/50th. This is called the proportional theory, and it's over a century old. The idea is that your brain measures time against how long you've already lived. Each new year is a smaller fraction of your total, so it feels smaller. And honestly, it sounds perfect. But here's the strange part. If it were only math, the effect would be smooth and predictable. Every year slightly shorter than the last, like clockwork. That's not what people actually report. People describe whole decades vanishing. They say their 30s and 40s blur into almost nothing. The math can't explain a blur, so the proportion idea is part of the story, but something bigger is hiding underneath it. To find it, we have to change the question. Stop asking how time feels while it's happening. Start asking how time feels when you look back, because those are two completely different clocks. In the moment, boredom feels slow and fun feels fast, but in memory, it flips. A boring week leaves almost no trace and shrinks to nothing. A week packed with new experiences feels huge when you remember it. Psychologists actually split time into two kinds. The time you feel while you're living a moment, and the time you reconstruct when you look back on it. Most of us think they should match. They almost never do. And this is where it gets interesting. Your sense of how long a period lasted depends on how many distinct memories you formed during it. More new memories, the longer that stretch of time feels in hindsight. Try this right now. Think about last Tuesday. For most people, almost nothing comes back. Now think about your last real trip somewhere new. Suddenly, you can replay it in detail. The smells, the streets, the small surprises. Same amount of clock time, wildly different amount of memory. And that gap is exactly what your brain uses to measure how long time felt. When you're young, almost everything is new. First day of school, first time swimming, first heartbreak. Your brain is constantly recording because everything matters and nothing is routine. All those fresh memories pile up, and when you look back, that densely recorded time feels stretched and enormous. That's why one childhood summer can feel longer than an entire adult year. Think about the first time you lived on your own. The first job. The first apartment. The first city you figured out alone. That period probably feels long and vivid in your memory, even if it only lasted a year or two. It was crammed with firsts, so your brain filed away hundreds of separate moments. Density of memory became length of time. Now compare that to a typical adult week. Same drive, same screen, same meals. Your brain has seen all of it before, so it stops bothering to record in detail. Routine becomes a kind of mental shorthand, and when there's almost nothing new to remember, your brain compresses the whole stretch into a tiny smear. Weeks collapse, months merge, a year evaporates. And here's the twist most people miss. Time isn't speeding up because you're getting older. It's speeding up because you're experiencing less that's new. Age isn't the cause. Repetition is. This means a young person stuck in pure routine can feel time racing just as fast. And an older person, learning, traveling, changing, can pull the brakes on it. The clock was never the problem. Your supply of new memories was. There's even a related idea from outside psychology. One engineer proposed that as we age, our brains process incoming images more slowly. Fewer mental snapshots per second. If that's true, clock time would seem to slip by faster because we're capturing less of it. It's still a hypothesis, but it points in the same direction. The richness of what we take in shapes how long time feels. Picture two people living the exact same 5 years. One keeps every day nearly identical. The other changes jobs, picks up a skill, travels, makes new friends. On a calendar, they lived the same amount of time. But in memory, the second person lived far longer. They didn't get extra days, they just refused to let those days blur together. And this matters more than it sounds. Because if your years are quietly compressing, they're not just feeling shorter. In memory, they're disappearing. People reach their 60s and feel like the last 30 years happened in a weekend. Not because they were short, but because they were repetitive. Parents feel this the hardest. They blink, and a baby is suddenly a teenager. Not because those years were empty, but because the daily routine of raising a child turns thousands of ordinary days into one soft blur. The moments you most want to keep are the ones repetition quietly erases. So what actually slows time back down? Novelty. New places, new skills, new people, new problems. Anything that forces your brain to pay attention and record again. You can't add hours to a day, but you can add memories to a year. And it doesn't take a trip around the world. Taking a different route home. Learning something that makes you slightly uncomfortable. Meeting people who don't think like you. Even small breaks in the pattern force your brain to start recording again. The goal isn't to be busy, it's to be present enough that the moment is worth keeping. That's the real payoff. Time doesn't feel fast because the universe sped up, it feels fast because your brain stopped taking notes. Fill your life with sameness and it vanishes. Fill it with first times and it expands again. Here's what makes this worth knowing now. Every repetitive week you don't notice is a week your future self won't remember at all. Not lost to time, lost to sameness. And the difference between a full life and a blurred one isn't how many years you get. It's how many of them you actually felt yourself living. The clock on your wall never changed its pace. The only thing that changed was how much of your life you were truly awake for. If you want the next video to break down another hidden system running quietly behind your everyday life, subscribe.